Hello, we are the Real Short Box Live. Thank you all for joining. My name is Captain Don, and to my right, I guess you could say, is Mr. Christopher D. Turner, writer, actor, director, producer. And just below me is Miss Sammy. Thank you for joining. And in the corner over here, like a naughty boy, is Mr. Kevin. Nice to see you, Kevin.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome,
Thanks.
sir. You're welcome. Let me just quickly. I'm gonna change this here to. There we go. Get that, and there we go. I fixed it. Captain Don. I think that's the abbreviation. CAPT. Right?
Dear.
Right? Is that the abbreviation? CAPT?
Yeah, you got it. CAPT.
Yeah? Okay. Good. I got it. Good. Alright. So let me go and so we're going to talk all things Loki tonight, everybody. That's what we're going to be doing. It's going to be a blast. This is going to be a short and sweet one. So come on in and enjoy all of this while you can.
Or
or
none of that.
Get your dose of this right here. All of this. Get a dose.
You're all for it, Donald.
Get a,
Are you
what's
saying
that?
that just because your birthday's tomorrow? Is that why you're saying that?
No, I mean this is a good. You get a dose of this. Like you could get your COVID shot, or you can get a dose of this.
What the Donald shot?
And a lot of people are actually choosing this.
I don't
Captain
even know what Captain Don.
Captain Don.
Captain Don. Yep, they're getting a little Captain Don.
I'm good.
Little bit. Don't be jealous, Sammy. Don't be jealous. All right, so let's talk about villains in the Marvel universe. We're talking about Loki. Loki's a villain within the Marvel universe. Let's just name a few of our favorite Marvel villains and why we love them so much. And Kevin, I guess we'll start with you, and I'll be doing a few things in the background while we do that.
Well, before we went on air, Thanos, I certainly think is one of my favorite MCU villains because, as I was telling Sammy, very layered villain. Now, comparison to the comic book version, a little bit different. Comic book version is actually even more disturbed. If any of you guys are familiar with it, he's a very dark character in the comics. He's obsessed literally with the personification of death. So in the MCU version, it's a little different. You know, he's all about I'm trying to think what that Malthusian. It's kind of a Malthusian where he's trying to concern about the population of the universe, and he feels he's truly doing the right thing by destroying half of it because of what happened to his home planet. His home planet had an issue where it cost many lives, and he saw the destruction of his planet Titan, and he feels, you know what? If I do it this way, I'm actually going to make the universe a better place. So,
Yeah.
and he did have love for his daughter, although he had to kill her in order to achieve his plan. But you actually saw he didn't want to do it. But it's like, I got to do what I got to do to achieve my goal. And you saw how torn he was when he did kill Gamora. So it's very interesting film. Like he truly believed what he was doing was the right thing.
Do you think
Those twists.
that if he thought that he could do it with less harm, would he have chosen less or maybe Gamora?
Good question. It's a very good question.
Gamora. Yeah, get it?
Gamora, yes, a very good
Yeah.
question. You know what? We're gonna have to ask Josh Brolin. Oh, what do you think Woody would have done?
Good idea.
What about you, Miss Sammy, Lady Sammy? What was your favorite villain in the MCU?
Well, one of my favorites isn't in the MCU necessarily. They were on one of the Netflix Marvel shows.
Oh,
I mean, I do have some MCU, but I kind of love Kingpin.
oh, that's a good choice.
Wilson
That's a good
Fisk.
choice.
Not just from that show, but I mean, it was kind of, Vincent D'Onofrio, awesome job. But yeah, I liked it because he seemed so heartless, so ruthless, but then you see
He has a heart.
from, and you see his childhood and what he dealt with, and then you also see later on in that show he meets someone. He does have a heart, he falls in love, and he protects her.
Hey,
And
Maria, thanks for joining.
he kind of goes along with the whole brutality and everything, and
it's a means to an end.
Yeah, exactly. So I do love him. I also really love Agatha. I love Agatha. It's so good, and especially on WandaVision with her. And you had a lot of people kind of had an idea that Agnes, Agatha, all of that, but she just played the innocent part so well, the caring neighbor, but then the whole time there's Agatha all along, and she was manipulating everything, and she's extremely powerful, and I love Han.
What's funny about her, she in of herself is actually a pawn of someone else that we don't know. We have our theories, maybe a pawn of Mephisto, maybe a pawn of Nightmare.
Yeah,
it could be a pawn of anybody.
Everyone wanted to see. I remember all the Instagram posts and everything with people going, "Is that Mephisto? That's got to be Mephisto. Right. That guy right there is secretly Mephisto." And then it turns out, no, at least not. It's no.
Loki did have a little tease that maybe Mephisto is out there. If you remember that scene from the that church when they briefly visited with the child.
Yep, I do.
So it's a possibility.
Huh.
And you, Dr. Chris Turner?
All right, I'm out of the box choice for best villain for MCU, and that is the Game Master.
Oh, well. I like the Game Master.
Yeah, I don't know, just something about Jeff Goldblum that I just love. Just every time I see it.
He really made Ragnarok. I mean, he was one of the people besides the Rock dude. They're like those are two of my favorite characters. Thank you. They're like two of my favorite characters from Ragnarok.
It's my birthday.
I mean, it's totally not dangerous at all, but he's just a fun character.
And he's the brother of help me out here, brother Donald, Benicio del Toro's character.
Yeah, the Collector.
That's his brother.
That makes sense.
Jarrett, it was Agatha all along. Dun dun dun. That's right. That's right.
It's too bad we haven't seen them together yet, though. I wanted to see those two act together. At least the characters together, the Collector and the Game Master. Maybe we'll get that in the future.
But the Game Master apparently is in the next Thor movie, so we'll see.
Oh.
It's a good point.
Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder.
It's a good title.
You think so?
Oh, I know so.
By the way, are you excited, Sammy, to see a female Thor being played by Natalie Portman, or by her character?
I am. I kind of want to see how she. I want to see how she does it. I mean, I did love her as Jane Foster, just Jane Foster. Nerdy, but a brilliant scientist. But I want to see it. I want to see her kick some butt.
Are you saddened that Scarlett Johansson sued her way out of the Marvel Universe?
Well, then didn't Disney then offer her a bigger payday to stay in it?
I don't know.
I mean, if they're smart, they would. If they're smart, they would. I had no idea she had that deal, and I know I don't need to feel guilty about watching it on streaming, but I kind of do a little bit.
Yes, as you should. You should definitely. You should feel very guilty for that.
Yeah.
I went to the theater to watch it. The theater. I got my little kids pack with my popcorn and my gummies, and I got a little icy. It's a mango icy.
Just this little one?
Yeah, not that big. Yeah, maybe that big. I don't know. But we are talking about the Jungle Cruise tonight. For those that are wondering why I'm dressed up like this, this is right.
It was amazing, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Wow, I didn't know that. I was misinformed.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go back to Loki then. We'll talk some more Loki. Hi, Mom. Everybody say hi to my mom. My dad.
Hello, Mother McKinney.
Hello, Mother. Hello, Father. Hello.
Does the captain hat bring on the accent?
Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Look. I'm the captain now.
All right, you took that from from a movie. You know that from like over a decade ago.
Yes,
Yeah.
Captain Ron.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
What about you, Donald? What about your favorite MCU villain? Could
Oh,
be could be. Oh, I know what it is. It's the Purple Man.
yeah, it's always been
from-
Magneto. It's always going to be Magneto. Magneto is just
Oh, it's the Purple Man. It's David Tennant, the Purple Man
terrific.
from Jessica
No.
Jones.
No, Magneto, the Purple Man, the guy always wearing purple. Not David
Wouldn't
Tennant.
call it purple.
I like David Tennant, don't get me wrong. David Tennant's an attractive looking man, although he's starting to turn into a gremlin as he gets older.
Wow.
What's your tongue?
You wait and see.
Wow.
You wait and see. He's gremlinizing.
So you're saying that he looks like a Mogwai? No, not Mogwai. What's the other one? Stripe? Is that what you're saying?
A little bit.
Wow. Would you tell it to his face?
Yes.
You know he'd slap you if you said that to his face.
I would watch that.
If David Tennant slapped me,
'Cause we
we'd
would
better
have
catch that on film.
Donald, I would take photos, video, anything. I mean, who wouldn't share that? That's history.
That's history. You're right.
And
And then he would be history.
Sure thing, buddy.
I'll give him one of these. David Tennant, I'll give you one of these, buddy. But yeah, so Loki. Let's dive into this. Since I've mentioned, I'm gonna quickly just wrap up my Magneto talk. Magneto's the best. No one can stop him. He could kill Superman if he wanted to. End of story.
Well, yeah, we had that theory from years ago. We talked about that on an earlier episode.
Mm-hmm. And it's true. It's very, very true. Who has the dog?
Oh no.
Might be mine.
They fighting?
They're not fighting. They hear things.
They just went inside. They went inside the room.
No, they might come in though. I can't really stop them.
Oh, really? And what are they going to do then? Get your car keys and then go for a drive? Because you can't really stop them.
Jump on my bed. That's
I'm not doing that.
I wasn't asking.
I'm not driving over there to jump on your bed, Sammy. Don't be weird.
I think you're weird, but
You're a goof.
that's
What a
besides the
goof.
point.
Anyway, Magneto's the best there is. The best there ever will be. There's no question. So Magneto, yes, the best villain in the Marvel Universe. Now, who have they made the best villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Arguably, that is Loki.
Yep.
And that's because there's complexities to his character. There's things that always change. He's the master of mischief. He's the god of mischief, actually. So it's hard to deny Loki being such a formidable villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, just based off that, and based off the performance by the actor that plays
Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, Tom Hiddleston. He does a fantastic job. Just walks the line of that smarmy, cocky, person that you always didn't like in high school, because they always had one up on you, and they knew it. That's Tom Hiddleston's performance as Loki. That's the way I see it, anyway. But what did the three of you think of the series, the TV series Loki?
Well, ladies first. Sammy, what did you think?
Well, thank you, Kevin. I loved it. I've loved Loki since the first time he was on screen, and even then he was not really as redeemable, but I loved it. I loved getting to see more of him and giving him the chance to change or to find out that what he thought he wanted, he didn't really want, and that he does care and he does want to help people, and he isn't just about causing chaos and mayhem and destruction. There's more to him than that, and he has a more glorious purpose than just being the god of mischief.
Very true. Very true. You're wearing the shirt, are you not?
Oh yeah, hang on. Burdened with glorious purpose.
There you go. In Scorch says, don't you think that Superman's heat vision could make Magneto's protective bubble unbearably hot?
Maybe.
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 Possible. But then again, Magneto is pulling things up from the Earth's core, or can easily, and, just from the ground itself, which can be quite insulating. So it's possible that he can just keep pulling up new things to keep himself cool, or he could fashion together a fan on the inside and just have it running using his magnetic ability. It's possible,
Sure.
Scorch. It's possible. Anything's possible with Magneto. I'm just saying, Magneto's the best. And you have to trust me, because I'm a captain.
Self-proclaimed, but,
Little, like, you see me and you think, wow, this guy's way more trustworthy than Donald ever was, right? I mean,
No, actually.
you want to
No.
confide with, with Captain Don. You want to tell him things that you wouldn't tell anybody, really. You just
Donald.
feel compelled to do it. At least that's the way I see it.
No, Donald. That jacket alone makes me not want to trust you.
Exactly. Yeah, I would never trust somebody wearing a jacket like that.
You wouldn't? This is a quality jacket, guys. This is a floral print. I don't know what you're talking about. That humanizes me.
I could not tell.
And I'm wearing this hat, and it looks so striking on me. I just feel like powerful when I wear this. I feel like I could take over the world.
Really? No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Hey, my mom says she likes the jacket, so there.
Well, I guess that's all that matters.
Yes, I guess so.
Well, my sister bought it for me, so I wasn't going to buy this. I kept looking at it, and I was like, oh, that jacket's so cool. Oh, man. And my sister's like, just give me the jacket. And I was like, okay. She's like, you need to have it. I was like, all right. So now I have it. But
That doesn't make you trustworthy.
But the hat, that's all me, baby. It's all me.
Yeah.
I got that
like
from
If I
Captain
saw you
School.
like on the Love Boat or something,
Yeah.
like one of those weird Love Boat.
Definitely
Yeah.
getting those vibes.
Yeah.
Or like Hugh Hefner. Kind
Yep.
of.
Hey, Ricky. Thanks for joining. Thanks for popping in, buddy. We're talking some stuff with all things Loki. Yeah, we were asking everybody who their favorite villain was in the Marvel universe. Kevin's, it was Thanos. Sammy's, I wasn't paying attention. Whatever. And oh, that's right. And Chris's was the
Game Master.
Game Master. Thank you. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm really good at this. Apparently.
And yours was the Purple Man, Donald.
And Magneto.
David Tennant.
No.
Yeah.
Magneto.
That's what I remember.
It was Magneto. Although that season of Jessica Jones was very good, I will say.
Well, actually, that's the only good season, at least for me personally.
Yeah.
I tried. I'm trying to get through the second season right now, and it's really bad.
I haven't even watched it yet because people told me it's that bad.
Well, they said if you thought the second season was bad, don't even try the third. And I'm like,
That's what I was told too.
I didn't even finish the second. Why would I try the third? Didn't make sense. Shit don't make no sense.
Wow.
Wasn't the third season of that, was there?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
There was?
Yeah.
Yep. It was the only other season besides Daredevil to get a season 3.
God. It's been so long since I watched that. It must not have been the best. Yeah.
I should have wore this yesterday.
No.
No, I don't think so.
I'm glad you didn't.
I would have been very popular at the bar. Everybody would have been coming up to me, confiding in me, giving me the keys to their yachts. Crazy.
Would have been very controversial.
It's true. It's very true. So let's start out. Let's talk a little bit about Loki. Loki came from the Thor comic books, which was actually at the time Journey into Mystery. And Loki came about and was a very good villain for Thor because he was also Thor's half-brother. So there was a lot of favoritism, so to speak, that Thor was always seen as the favorite son and Loki as the redheaded stepchild. No offense, Sammy. So
Not my natural color, so not offended.
good. I was referring to the stepchild thing, but
Wild.
yeah, you're adopted. I didn't know that you didn't know that, and I'm sorry. You
Wow.
hear it from me. But since I am a captain, it's probably good that you hear it from me. You know?
You know what? You think you're like on the Enterprise, don't you?
Captain's log. Stardate 61753009.
Wait. Are you trying to compare her with Dr. Crusher, since she also has red hair?
Were you Dr. Crushing on Dr. Crusher, Kevin?
No, I was not.
No? Oh, okay. Just checking. So, with Loki, we started out, he came into the Marvel Universe as far as the comic books, Journey into Mystery with Thor. And he quickly made himself one of the most popular villains in Thor comic books, simply because they had that dynamic where they were brothers. And they were always vying for the affection of Odin, their father. And Loki was always kind of a trickster, of course, and would always have these plans to take over in his father's place, Asgard. Kevin, it's not called Asgard, by the way. Just wanted to clear that up for you. It's Asgard.
I think I know that. This does go back to an ancient Norse legend, god legend, Loki and Thor. So, of course, I would know that.
Yes. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that legend, Kevin?
Wait, hold on a second.
All right, so
anybody could write a Loki, Thor, Odin book, TV show, so forth and so on, and just same thing with Hercules. They could technically done. Just Marvel, of course, people think of the Marvel version of those characters. But yeah, these go back thousands of years to those ancient Norse legends that many people from the Scandinavian culture would attest to and worship, and of course, Ragnarok and all that.
Yeah, you ever notice that Marvel had a lot of characters that are kind of just open source, so to speak, that anybody can use. I mean, they have Werewolf, they have
Dracula,
they have Frankenstein, they have Loki, they have Thor, they have Odin, they have pretty much everybody in that book. So they have a lot of characters that if somebody else wanted to do a series about it, you just couldn't call it. You could call it Thor, I guess, but you couldn't call it the Mighty Thor or, whatever else Thor was called.
Human Dracula, I guess you'd have to be careful on how that would come out.
Right. Yeah. You could call it the Catacombs of Dracula, perhaps.
The Catacombs of Dracula.
That would be the the IKEA version, I guess.
Yeah, IKEA version.
Catacombs of Dracula. You can get that. But
hey, that's good comedy.
So the first episode of Loki. Let's talk about this for a little bit. Owen Wilson. Owen Wilson played a character called Mobius, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And Loki got brought in. This took place. The series picked up right where Avengers Endgame kind of ended his story, where he grabbed the Tesseract, aka the Cosmic Cube. They still haven't called it that in the MCU, have they?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think they have. So he picked up the Tesseract and then bloop, disappeared. And that was the last time we saw Loki. And then bloop, he reappears. And some people show up in suits and kind of beat the stuffing out of him and attack him. Mm-hmm. And they grab him and take him to the... what is it? TVA. Time Variant Authority. Yeah, so Time Variant Authority. And they take him there, and they go, hey, you're not supposed to be. This isn't supposed to happen. Your story ended there when you died, when Thanos killed you in Avengers. What was it? Infinity
War.
Infinity War, yeah. Your story ended there. So you're not supposed to be alive. So we have to actually end your life. In other words.
Variant, essentially.
Right. Yeah, he's a variant. So they have to get rid of him. And there's a lot of talking between Mobius and him. They sit in a room and they talk for 45 minutes straight. 45 goddamn minutes straight, guys. Now, you want to talk about trying to put you to sleep. They thought maybe that they were going to get you to take a nap when you watch the first 3 episodes of WandaVision. And they were like, no, I got something even better. Let's just put two guys in a room and just have them talk for 45 goddamn minutes. And that's pretty much what they did.
I actually thought that those were some of the best scenes in the whole show.
You know what? I have to agree with
I think you guys are all incorrect.
Exactly.
And I think everybody in the chat would agree with me that I am right.
I don't think they would.
I am right because I'm a captain, first and foremost, but also because I'm correct.
No,
it was boring.
You're wrong because you're the captain.
The second episode I barely remember because it was also kind of boring. So I'm going to throw the second episode over to somebody else to discuss it. Sammy.
What do you think, Chris? Oh, Sammy.
No. What? What?
Although the first episode did have a great title, The Glorious Purpose.
Maria disagrees. She disagrees with you guys. She agrees with me, I guess. And my mother says you're right, son. See?
Wow. You know what? You keep PayPaling people money for them to agree with you, so of course they're going to agree with you.
Donald.
What?
Really? Come on now. Come on.
I was not PayPaling anybody any money.
I don't believe that. I think you're lying.
I definitely was not PayPaling anybody any money right now.
You're definitely not PayPaling people money at this very moment, are you?
Nope.
You're ridiculousness.
Well, one cool thing about the second episode, the variant, it kind of gets a little deeper into the purpose of the TVA, and Loki discovering that he's a variant, or at least being told that he's a variant, by the Timekeepers. So we learn about this whole sacred timeline, which is interesting because what makes the timeline so sacred? Who decided that, okay, this particular timeline is the timeline? But apparently this authority says that this is the timeline, and if you don't technically belong there, then you must be removed because you're screwing up the whole flow of events.
It's true. It's very true. And there was a scene that there's multiple. It almost looks like a kind of like lightning bolts, I guess, coming out. You have the regular timeline, but when you have the variant timelines, they just start to spread out like
branches.
Yeah, the branches, I guess. Yeah. And I'm wondering if you guys, did you notice when you looked at that, did you think about maybe turning it from its side up, and then it would look like the Tree of Life that Asgard talks about all the realms?
A little bit.
And I thought, maybe that's going to be part of where Love and Thunder is going to go, into this, now that we have these variant worlds, if that's also going to be part of this.
Oh, I'm sure it will be.
They haven't really said much as far as like where they're going with the story and stuff with Thor: Love and Thunder, which is coming up pretty soon, right? Relatively soon.
I was assuming that's where Lady Thor came from. Was a variant of Thor.
You know what? That could very well be. They could go
Jane Foster's version.
Yeah, they could go with the story that it was like in the comic books, where Thor lost his worthiness, so to speak, to hold Mjolnir, and they were like, okay, and then Jane is able to pick it up and carry on in his stead. They could do that, or you're absolutely right, they could do that as a variant story where she's now, Thor, and he's like, what's going on? I'm Thor, and she's like, no, let me show you. And then, like, there's this whole thing. It's possible. Very possible.
Well, similar to, that's a good segue into the female Loki that they introduced in this episode towards the end. Because, once Loki's brought into the fold and he begins to work for the TVA as a way to, make amends for being a variant, he discovers that, hey, he's trying to think like his other versions of himself. And he's, of course, trying to manipulate Owen Wilson's Mobius character. But, didn't work out so well. But then he finally discovers his female version of himself. And, was quite fascinated.
Right.
Trying to figure out why is she doing what she's doing.
Now, were you wondering, like, if they were going to kiss? And if so, what would have happened? Like, you know what I mean? Like, when they talked about the kissing part, or, like, you thought that they might kiss, I instantly thought, oh no, you can't do that because you're gonna destroy yourself or something. I'm so used to like time cop type shit, you know, where you can't be in the same room.
If you meet yourself,
Right.
yourself from a.
But I guess variants
It's
in
different.
being in different times is totally different. So
yeah, it's not like you're going back in time and meeting your past self and interacting with something that happened already in your life or in your history. It's
or in the future.
Yeah, it's a variant of you. It's someone who's living a completely different life in another timeline. So it's like,
yeah, I actually
That's true,
really
Sammy
would
met,
like
a different version of herself.
Yeah, I'd like to meet that version of Sam.
She might be the queen of. She might be the queen of England.
The different variation
in a different universe.
of Sammy
You never know.
might be somebody I would want to hang out with.
You think that would go any better for you?
No. No, I don't. I don't think so. Unfortunately. So the second episode basically kind of was more talky-talky, right? That's what we've established. There's a lot of talking.
But there was a little bit more action, you know, once we got introduced to
there was the big fight scene at the end in the store.
And at the beginning, there was a little bit of action.
And at the end of the store, in that episode, when she possesses, I can't remember the lady's name, one of the
one of the TVA,
the lead, basically the captain of the TVA, in a way, that's in the field. When she gets touched by we might as well call her the Enchantress right now instead of saying Lady Loki. We'll just call her the Enchantress. When she gets touched by the Enchantress,
Hunter B-15.
There you go, Hunter B-15. When Hunter B-15 gets touched by the Enchantress and they kind of mind meld, so to speak, it's like some Spock shit going on. Hunter B-15 gets images of things that happened to her that she doesn't remember happening in her life. And she starts to question reality and where she's at and her role in all of this. And that's when we start to see that.
Also, Donald, the other Hunter who she takes from the Renaissance Fair, that one that they went to, the one that was in the 80s, kind of possessed her, made her beat up all the other TVA agents. And then when they finally find her, and she's just a mess because she was shown these things, these memories that how could they be real? Because she's always worked for the TVA. She's always been, you know.
So she thought.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that was pretty cool. One of the first cool twists we discover is that all of the workers of the TVA are not what they think they are. They're actually regular people from Earth, but they were different variants from different times, and they're just brought in to become basically enslaved employees.
Huh. Scorch brought up something I thought was interesting. Not to change topics, but he says Superman's heat vision gets up to 5,000 degrees, while the Human Torch's Nova Flame gets as hot as 1,000,000 degrees. That is crazy. So are you saying that the Human Torch could melt Superman? Is that what you're saying? Scorch?
Maybe.
Never know.
Oh, don't you walk away from us, Chris.
I'm here.
What I thought.
He's had enough for you, Donald.
That's what I thought. He's had enough, I know. Janet says, hey, I'm on episode 5 out of 6 of Loki now. Good job, Janet.
Well,
excellent,
Janet,
excellent.
Spoilers.
Yeah, there are going to be some spoilers that are coming up, but like I told my mother and father, who haven't finished the series, if you're not big into the comic book world, it's not going to affect anything. It's like saying, oh, well, the main villain is Jessica. And they'd be like, who the hell's Jessica? I don't know who the hell that is, right? So it doesn't matter, really. But there will be a few things that we might mention that you might want to be like, do that. But otherwise, you're going to be pretty safe.
Speaking of variants, Kevin mentioned the variant, and we find everyone's variants. Anybody else think that B-15 is a variant of a Wakandan warrior?
You know, that's a very interesting theory there.
That thing about her.
Yeah, it's possible.
That would be really cool.
She might be part of the, I can't even shame on me, the Dora Milaje. It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible.
You
never
know, here's the thing that's upsetting to me as a DC Comics fan. DC Comics has the multiverse, and
automatically.
they've always been able to do it right. You know,
Right.
They've done a great job of that multiverse. Marvel never really could quite figure that out in the printed page in comics, but now they're beating DC to it in the movies, and so it's like so irritating to see them try to make this succeed when they couldn't in the comics, really.
Basically.
And DC's just like still struggling. So frustrating. As a DC fan, it's very frustrating.
I hear you. They're being DC at their own game, and then by the time DC catches up, DC is going to be accused of stealing Marvel's idea.
Oh yeah, you talk to anybody that's never read a comic book, and they're going to be like, "Yeah, DC, they steal everything." No,
I know it's true. When they saw Deathstroke and Terminator, they're like, "Wait a minute, who's that Deadpool knockoff?" Without realizing it's actually the other way around.
Yeah, Slade Wilson and Wade Wilson. They couldn't even get like more creative with the name. He's Wade Wilson. I was like,
"Wait, I that may be true, but I love me some Deadpool." So.
Oh, yeah, he's a great character.
And then you got literally 2 characters with the same name, Captain Marvel.
Well, that's true. Again, Marvel took advantage of. See, it's DC's fault. It had to do with like trademarking and copyright issues because Captain Marvel, DC's version, which is known as Shazam, was originally known as Captain Marvel. Matter of fact, we got to do a show about that to try to break down all these different Captain Marvels. But
there are at least 3 Captain Marvels that I can remember. Right off the bat.
At least.
Yeah, at least 3. And more than that, I'm sure. Oliver Kendall popped in. Thank you for joining, Oliver. He says, but don't you think that it has everything to do with the fact that DC doesn't have an overseer like Feige to actually hold things together cohesively?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to have a lot to do with that, Oliver. Absolutely. That's the biggest problem. And also, like, Disney did it right. Marvel/Disney did it right. They had Feige in place, and they were like, well, this isn't broke, so let's not try to fix it. Whereas DC is owned by Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers always has too many fingers in the pie. They always try to control things more than they should, and that's the problem with DC Warner Brothers.
They jacked up the Batman franchise back in the 90s because of that.
Yeah, and it's hard to change a company that's so stuck in its ways in that manner of speaking. So they're trying new things. They're trying to learn. One thing that I think they very well did learn, is that you can't do the Justice League and then do all the individual movies.
Right.
You do the individual movies first, like Marvel did, and you build it out, and you take your time. And that way, if there's one kind of a stinker, you can just throw them in then with the team, or you don't have to put them in a film at all, and then they can show up on the team. Like, Hawkeye didn't have a movie, and up until now, Black Widow didn't have a film at that point. She got hers after everything.
That was a mistake. That should have happened earlier.
I've been saying the same thing. Black Widow should have came out in 2018.
Yeah.
Black Widow didn't need to come out at all.
What's that?
What?
What's that?
What?
I don't think it was. It was okay, but I don't think it was. I don't think the movie really accomplished anything.
Wow, Sammy and Donald about to fly out to Texas and smack you.
That's all it did.
Wow, Sammy and Donald about to fly out to Texas right now and slap you, sir.
Scorch says, I think that Project Almanac shows the most likely scenario of time travel, where a guy who sees his past self from a day earlier, and he begins to blink in and out of existence. Then he says, Janet and I believe that Marvel Earth 616 is the only legitimate Marvel Earth. And I am with you there, too, as well. I think the Ultimate Universe was something that they toyed with, and they had some success. They had a huge success. But right now, even the most popular book from there...
Miles Morales.
Yeah, that's the most popular one. All the rest of them are pretty much worthless now at this point. There's not a lot of value behind them right now. Will there be again? Absolutely there can be, but there just isn't right now. Scorch, Janet says, Scorch, Marvel, Earth 616 rules. Scorch says, Black Cat may be a ripoff of Catwoman, but I like Black Cat more.
Ooh, wow.
Huh.
Oliver says, he says, it's the same problem with Kathleen Kennedy. which I think
Star
is
Wars.
interesting because she claimed they had no source material to pull from when they removed
Yeah, it's a
all the
lie.
best source material from canon.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. That's a lie. The biggest mistake they made in that Star Wars sequel trilogy and everything else is by getting rid of the well, they call it Legends, but getting rid of that the books that they had from the 90s and 2000s. Yeah, that was stupid.
Let's see. Jarrett says, thoughts on the whole Gal Gadot's career being threatened?
Being threatened by what?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys don't know?
No.
Basically, that was what's his name? Josh Whedon. Josh Whedon wanted her to do particular things on set, and she didn't want to do them. She didn't feel it felt natural, and she was questioning him, and he didn't like that she was questioning him. So he told her, if you ever want to work again, you do as I say. So basically,
Are you kidding?
yeah. So he kind of was digging his hole that he's going to bury himself in even more.
So
He's
maybe the guy who played Cyborg was right about him.
Yeah, and that's funny because we all thought he was kind of Looney Tunes, or a lot of people did. They were like, "Oh my God, that was it Stephen Fisher, Larry Fisher,
Ray Fisher.
Ray Fisher.
about him, yeah.
Yeah, everybody thought he was crazy.
I think because he's like the least known actor from that whole Justice League. So like, oh yeah, he's just spoiled. He doesn't know how good he has it. How dare he, talk bad about Will? Yeah.
Yeah, Jarrett popped up right now. He says basically Cyborg was right. So yeah, Ray Fisher was right. Let's see. Oliver also says, Chris, nah, brah, it was needed and fantastic, but it should have come out after Civil War.
Thank you.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Agreed. I think it would be a better. We would like the story more. I think those that didn't care too much for the story would like it more if it came out sooner than later. It was too little, too late, actually, for that character.
Yeah, because it's not like I didn't like the story. I just felt it coming out now was pointless. It was like really all it did was to introduce a character, and it's bad timing. And I feel like if it had been in the order it was supposed to have been in, it would have been less.
He pops up and he says it's disjointed now as a result, and he's correct, absolutely.
And the pandemic didn't help either.
No, it was supposed to come out last year, but it does kind of the end of it, at least the end credits does, or not the post credit scene. It does.
Spoilers.
Lead into something that's going to happen. So.
Well, we could say it. It's been like a month. We can say it, but I'm just letting people know that there's going to be a Black Widow spoiler coming right now. So
yeah, it leads into the fact that we know the Hawkeye show is coming, and that Yelena is going to be part of that, and it's going to go after Clint because she thinks he was responsible for Nat dying, and like so.
Well, he kind of was.
Yeah.
But she sacrificed herself because he had a family, and he was like family to her. So he
had a secret farm family.
Okay, but it's not like he was dating someone and then had a secret family. That was his family, his wife and kids all along.
We were upset that he didn't die. We really wanted Hawkeye to die.
Oh no! Even though he had a family, I would much rather him have died.
Me too.
Thank you.
Me too.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Scorch says, long live Star Wars Legends. The legend stories about Lando Calrissian will always be canon to me.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Yes, Lando is great. I love Lando. Great character.
Yeah, the extended universe, to me, is still canon. I agree.
So Jarrett then says, we're so getting Thunderbolts.
Oh, of course we are.
And
obviously.
That's what it.
Obviously.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know who Thunderbolts are, originally the idea was that Thunderbolts were a team of heroes that popped up out of nowhere to save the day. And at the end of the day, when they went to take their costumes off, you realize they were all supervillains disguised as heroes, so they can infiltrate government resources and use those said resources to then crush the other heroes.
In a way, they're Marvel's Suicide Squad, in a way. In a way.
They've become that more now than what they were.
The same, but just
originally, they weren't that, but now they've become that more. Baron Zemo was the leader of the team of Thunderbolts when it first started. And then when it was nearing its end of its huge tenured run, I think it was the Green Goblin. What's his name?
Norman Osborn.
Norman Osborn. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Okay, so we're getting Thunderbolts. Jarrett, who do you think they would have as part of the Thunderbolts team? Are you thinking Abomination?
You need the Red Hulk. You need the Red Hulk for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Oliver says not really. Honestly, no point. They fought over who would sacrifice themselves. So why would she actually go after her best friend? Yeah. They fought over who would sacrifice themselves. You're right, they did. And it ended up being the Black Widow that won out on that one, which is unfortunate because I do like her character much more than I like Hawkeye's. And it's not because I don't like Hawkeye. Let me be very clear about that. I love Hawkeye from the some of the comics, but also from the animated series, from the Avengers Assemble or whatever that one was that they did.
You still like Southpaws? It
was great. It was a great series, and Hawkeye was awesome in it. He was kind of quirky and sarcastic and witty and fun, and I really liked that about him. Unfortunately, we have Jeremy Renner that plays him, and he's not any of those.
You just don't like Southpaw actors. That's your problem.
No, I just don't like him as an. He just always comes off so conceited, even when he's acting, and I don't like that. I don't like him in any film I've ever seen him in.
Not even the Mission Impossible movies.
No, I don't like him in anything I've ever seen him in. If you can stump me on one, please feel free. But I can't remember any film that Jeremy Renner was in that I liked.
Would you tell it to his face if you met him?
Yeah, I'd tell it to his face.
He's gonna say he would tell it to anyone's face.
Yeah, tell it to your face.
He was good. He was good in Tag.
Guten Tag?
No, Tag.
Oh, I thought we were speaking German now. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, he was not good in Tag. Anybody could have played that role. He was a wet potato.
You could have played that role? You could have played that role?
A slice of dried bread or a wet potato could have played the same role. They could have just rolled him in, thrown the bread onto the floor, and been like, "Oh, that's right," and then just went on to the next scene.
Wow, man, it's like Jeremy Renner hate day all of a sudden. My goodness.
Sorry.
Yeah, and I don't hate him at all. I just think Hawkeye should have been the one to die. That's all.
Jared says he's got a question. This is a Star Wars question, but that's okay. We're kind of open tonight. He says, does Gina Carano get forgiven and get to come back to Mandalorian?
Carano.
Whatever. Disney has done that a la James Gunn, so it's possible.
I don't see why not, because her figures sure sell. So they sell out very well. They sell very well. Action figures.
Yes.
They fired her and they canceled her show. So.
Well, they did stop selling the figures, but now they're selling them again, aren't they? So I mean, there's a chance that.
The chance.
Yeah, they figured, well, we might as well make some money while we're at it.
Especially if the conspiracy theories are true that the Kathleen Kennedy wing of Lucasfilm was responsible for getting her fired to begin with, and with her likely leaving, maybe there is a window, an opportunity for Gina Carano to be brought back into the fold.
Yep. It's very true.
And to be somewhat fair to her, for those who may not like her commentaries, Pedro Pascal was also making political comments from the other political side of the spectrum. So you got to be fair. You can't, let one side say whatever, and then the other side, oh, we don't like what you said, you got to go.
Right.
It's hypocritical.
Jarrett also says that Renner was okay as Dahmer, his breakout role, but I can't get into him. He's boring. Thank you, Jarrett. He's boring. He's kind of arrogant and boring. Yes.
It's definitely Jeremy Renner hate day. Good Lord, Jared. You're just vicious, man.
And Jarrett gave us the list of who he thinks is going to be in Thunderbolts. He says U.S. Agent, Red Hulk, Zemo, Abomination, and Yelena.
Yeah, I agree. And probably one more person, one more character hasn't been introduced yet. They'll probably throw in.
Could be Frank Castle.
That'd be an interesting choice.
Yes, please.
Especially if they bring the actor back who played him in the Netflix series.
He was great. I did love
John Bernthal, I think
yeah.
His name.
him. Yeah.
I mean, they're connecting the universe more with Daredevil being in Spider-Man.
Yep, it's true.
If that's true, that would be awesome if he shows up. Also, rumor has it he may show up in the She-Hulk TV series, which would make a lot of sense since he's also an attorney, just like She-Hulk.
Yep.
So that'd be pretty cool.
More Matt Murdock.
Jarrett says Dirk Chompson. I don't know why Jarrett says that. I think that's who he wants to be the last member of the Thunderbolts.
Okay.
We've got a question here from Oliver. Oliver is asking, he says, well, first of all, he says, Kevin, your background is amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And then he says, do you all have any thoughts about the progression of this series? I would have at least a 12-episode slate of Loki where there were more episodes of Loki with a buddy cop segment where they went to prune more variants. Especially with the season 2 already greenlit, ? Yeah, they did greenlight the season 2. Anybody that's seen, this isn't a huge spoiler, anybody that's seen the last episode of season 1 knows that we are getting a season 2 of Loki. Loki will return in season 2. So, that's happening. As far as what are our thoughts, I think what they're doing is they're doing it smart. They're doing these small seasons because they have to pay these actors a lot of money, I'm sure, to come in and play their movie role in a series. That's basically like having a 3 or 4 hour long movie, for them.
I do think it would have been kind of cool to see him and Mobius have a little bit more time, but they did act so well together.
Mm-hmm.
I like their relationship, but I mean, Disney did what they did, so I mean, but it would have been cool to see a little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna get a buddy comedy or a buddy type show, I want it to be classic Loki and alligator Loki together. I mean,
that would be funny. That'd be funny.
Like a 30-minute buddy show, them two.
I actually enjoyed that alligator Loki. That thing was pretty freaking hilarious.
It was good.
And Frog Thor.
I don't know. Oliver was saying he was under the impression that it was due to COVID that the Loki was a shorter series. I don't know because we had Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and that was only about 6 episodes as well. So
I feel like all of those were. I mean,
all the series are probably affected by COVID.
Yeah, Feige had mentioned at one point he wanted to keep all the Marvel shows to 6 hours of TV.
Yeah. And that makes sense to me. Would I like to have had more? Sure. But I would rather have a tight, concise 6 solid episodes that I enjoyed than have a bunch of filler episodes. And we all know what those...
like Netflix, some of those filler episodes on those Netflix shows.
We all know the filler episodes.
Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Like Iron Fist.
Yeah. Well, the whole series of Iron Fist was filler episodes.
It had some good points.
No. It was trash.
The biggest problem with the running time of these shows are the fact that they put them at 6 hours, but it's actually only like 2 minutes of footage and then 58 minutes of credits.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of credits going on. And I think that they did the WandaVision so many episodes. It was 9 episodes, I think?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I've always said that those first 3 episodes are so bad. They're so boring. They could have easily had it in 6 episodes. Easily. It could have been 6 episodes. Just take those first 3 out, and you're good. And then people will be like, oh, well, I wish it was longer. And then I would come back, from my variant timeline, and I would squeeze them, and I would grab them, and I'd be like, no, you don't. No, you don't wish that.
Yes, we do.
Ow. Because those first 3 episodes...
Look, Sammy enjoyed watching Paul Bettany on the screen along with Elizabeth Olsen. She couldn't get enough.
Boring.
I did. It was wonderful.
Jared says, does Marvel TV become more popular than Marvel movies?
I don't think so, to be honest with you. I don't think so. Unless the quality starts going downhill when they finally get that first true Phase 4 Marvel movie. I don't think so, but who knows? Who knows?
Speaking of WandaVision, could White Vision become a member of Thunderbolts?
Easily could be. Thunderbolts is something that they could create a whole new team for. They can bring in all new characters for it, or they can use any of the pre-existing characters that they have right now. It just depends, I think, based upon the contractual agreements. What I do know that Marvel has stated, moving forward, they no longer want to try to contractually obligate these actors for being in all these films. Like Nick Fury, for example, Sam Jackson. They don't want to have an 11-picture deal with that person. They want somebody that enjoys playing that character, like Hiddleston, that wants to keep coming back, regardless of any contractual obligations or not. So they're saying that they want to have people that have the more of a freedom to do what they wish and enjoy being in these roles, rather than have somebody locked in and feel like they're a slave to it. And that makes a lot of sense. And that also tips you to the fact then that there's not going to be a lot of the old schoolers in there, possibly. It could be primarily new characters because we have new actors coming in.
This also might be a sneaky reason why, as I was telling you off camera, so to speak, that this is going to become the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse. And this is a way to actually probably, like you said, avoid 11-picture deals. So if there's an issue with a actor behind the scenes, oh, okay, we know how to get rid of you, because after all, it's a multiverse now. So you're giving us a little too much lip behind the scene, you're out, and it will just replace you.
Yep. And if you do like Iron Fist, by the way, Jarrett Galante does play Iron Fist, Danny Rand, in a Rumble Spoon Productions, a.k.a. Real Short Box, mini short story called Iron Fisted. And
he plays the role
phenomenal.
So well.
He does an amazing job. Amazing job. Being shirtless in a subway, wearing surfboard shorts and a fake wig and mumbling Danny Rand over and over again to yourself is something I applaud him for. Being on the streets, holding a sign that says "We'll fist for food," or "We'll fist for glory," or whatever he held the sign for. Also,
and he always kept saying, "I am Danny Rand."
I applaud it.
He wanted you to know it.
Yep, I applaud that. So, Jared again pops up. He says, Netflix Marvel is actually hard to go back and watch, not because of performances, but because it drags. And Jared, I 100% agree.
Except
drags
for Daredevil.
Like a mofo.
For the most part.
Daredevil does have some boring parts, Kevin. I think we glorify it, or overly glorify it, because it's like the only good one, like all the way through. You know, like all 3 seasons have some viability. They have some je ne sais quoi, so to speak, to them.
So Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox, they play off each other very well.
Primarily Vincent D'Onofrio. Vincent D'Onofrio is amazing, and that's why they're bringing him back too.
But Charlie Cox, come on.
Yeah, man, Charlie Cox is great.
I just think he looks like a dumbass in the costume. I hate the costume.
Wow.
The faceplate thing, I look stupid.
That's heavy criticism right there.
I
heard that they're changing the costume up.
They need to. They need to. We got some more comments here. Scorch says, my favorite part of the Iron Fist was the scene where he fought the drunken kung fu practitioner. And that guy had the coolest moves, and he drank while he was fighting.
That was a good scene.
That's also the guy that was up for the role of Danny Rand, but did not get it.
Really?
Yeah. And he actually knew kung fu. He actually knew martial arts. He knew how to fight. So it's disappointing that he didn't get the role. And this guy from Game of Thrones that steps in and knows nothing about martial arts is thrown into it and can't fight his way out of a paper sack.
You know what the best part of the Iron Fist show, to be honest with you, was the other person from Game of Thrones who played Colleen Wing, Jessica Henwick. She knows martial arts. She actually is a martial artist herself. So I enjoyed her Colleen Wing character.
Yeah.
She was awesome.
Jared says, maybe some of my best work. From the Danny Rand series or show episode that we did from Rumble Spoon. You can check that out on YouTube on the Rumble Spoon Productions page, where our podcast is shown as well.
Now, I have a question for you, Donald.
You
are a huge fan of a particular character that shows up in the final episode of the Loki TV series. How did you feel about him?
Now, here's the spoiler, guys. Anybody that hasn't seen the last episode, I'm going to tell you now.
Cover your ears.
It is a bit of a spoiler, but if you don't read comic books, it's not going to matter. We're talking about Kang the Conqueror. Kang the Conqueror. That's what we're talking about. And he's not called Kang in this. What did they call him?
He who remains, or
He who remains above all, or something like that. Yeah. It's gonna be awesome. Oliver's excited. I can see. He says Kang. I'm excited for sure. I think we saw at the end of the show where when Loki came back and he was talking to Mobius and he was like, "Oh my God, you know, we should not have done this. I think we've unleashed something. I think we've brought forth these variants of this guy, and they're not going to be nice, and we could be in trouble." And because that's what the one who rules above all was saying, was that if you eliminate me, if you take me out of the equation, I run the time variant authority.
The sacred timeline.
Yeah, I'm running this bitch, and if you take me out, I might be evil, but I'm the lesser of evils. I've taken care of all of my other variant brothers and sisters out there and put them in check. But if you get rid of me, that's going to change everything, and it's going to unleash them, and they're going to come out and bring hell upon Earth and upon all these variants.
A new multiversal war, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what he stopped when he took control.
And the Enchantress did not care, it seems. And
she was just so angry. That was the thing. The difference between her and Loki in the end was that he realized this will make things worse. This is not going to solve everything. Revenge is not the most important thing. This is going to make things 10 times, a million times worse. Stab anyway, and then look what happened.
now, do you think, are we all tired now of women coming in and ruining things?
Wow.
Is this going to be like,
wow.
Can we just have a little less of this now? I mean, first of all, we had the apple, right?
No, actually, it was a fruit. Not an apple per se. It was a fruit.
So what? A prune?
It was a fruit. A fruit.
A fruit. What do you think an apple is, Kevin?
Yeah, but it wasn't necessarily an apple. It could have been like a fig. It could have been anything.
You know what? You just say whatever you want to say, and that's fine. If you want to call it a carrot, I don't care.
No. I'm very much regretting getting you a birthday gift.
Honestly. Oh, yeah, whatever.
I'll take it back.
No, you won't. I'm gonna melt it.
You know what? There was a brief mention of a certain character, or at least I read somewhere there was like a statue of a certain character, but I missed it. The Living Tribunal. Living Tribunal, supposedly, was there like some kind of statue of Living Tribunals during the Loki series? I must have missed it. But
well, there was a statue of Kang at the end. Maybe that's what they were talking about.
No, they said before that. It was like a week or two before that episode.
Oh, you know what? It's possible. Yeah.
But being what it is, the Living Tribunal was mentioned once in the first Doctor Strange movie, very, very briefly. The Living Tribunal is in full control of the multiverse.
That's right, so, Oliver. It's the one who remains. Thank you. Sorry, Kevin.
Sorry.
I got 2 questions to bring up. First one, did any of you guys see the video where they sync up WandaVision and the last episode of Loki, where they show that the Scarlet Witch gets her true powers at the same time?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Kang was like, well, too late now.
Yeah, it's like we're past the point that I can see and that I can predict and that I know. It's like I know just as much as you do now, and I have no. Yeah, I did watch that. That was cool.
I did not.
The other question I have is, do we think Ant-Man, now that we know that Kang is the villain of Ant-Man and we know how powerful he is, do you think Ant-Man 3 is going to become the next Captain America 3, where it's an Avengers movie, basically?
It's possible.
I think if they were smart,
it's called Quantum Mania.
Yeah, so, I think if they were smart, they would do it, because traditionally in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Ant-Man films have done the least as far as box office. They don't bring in nearly as much as the other ones. They're still profitable, of course, and they like having that character, and they like having him in the Avengers and things like that. And he played a pivotal part in Endgame for sure. But yeah, I think that if they were smart, they would do that for sure.
It's just like the Marvels. They're smart enough. They knew they got lucky the first time around with that first Captain Marvel movie, that they're smart enough in the sequel to include the other Marvel lady characters.
Yeah.
Besides Carol Danvers.
Maria asks, speaking of multiverse, are we going to get Evan Peters as Quicksilver featured in other movies or shows? Seems like they were saying it was just a trick, or perhaps a boner.
We better, because with the multiverse coming into play, they better, because obviously we're going to get the X-Men, we're going to get the Fantastic Four, we're going to get Deadpool, so they'd be smoking crack not to.
Are we getting recasted X-Men, though?
I'm okay with that, with the exception of two people. I know Donald and I talked about this off screen, so to speak. They should keep Magneto and Professor X. I think Michael Fassbender, good Magneto, keep him, bring him into the fold. And James McAvoy, he's a good Professor X, bring him into the fold. Everybody else, you can even bring Hugh Jackman back for like one movie just to kind of connect everything. But other than that, everyone should be recast.
It's interesting. We did do a podcast on this not too long ago. Me and Remington K's, we did one where we talked about the X-Men universe and who we would put in to cast, for the roles and stuff. And it is available on the Rumble Spoon Productions page under the Real Short Box as well. We do an audio podcast about that. It was a couple months back, I believe, that came out. So if you all want to check that out, feel free. It's funny thing enough that a boner, like his last name in this WandaVision was Boner, but a boner is kind of like a prank, a trick. Originally is what it was in old-timey days. Old-timey days. I performed a boner on you. Ha ha ha, And then it changed, morphed into, slang for your penis. And so there's some old newspaper-like pictures of like comic strips and stuff, and one of them's of the Joker, and he's talking about, he's like, I'll get Batman. I'll perform a boner on him so big, no one will be able to stop it. And, it's hilarious because you think he's talking about his penis. But he's not. He's talking about a prank or a joke. So, yeah, they pulled a big prank on us. And when they went with the last name Boner, I thought that was funny because I'm sure they were referencing that. But also somebody there is 6 years old and is giggling like mad when they did it. So
Loki wrote the show.
Yeah, really, yeah. Hakeem popped in. Thanks for joining, Hakeem. He says, lucky me, Sammy is on again.
There we go.
And let's see. Oliver says, essentially Immortus, but he is Immortus. Yes, he is Mortis. Ramatut, I believe, as well, if I'm correct. That was his first incarnation from Fantastic Four issue. What was that, issue 6
and also,
or 3?
He's supposed to be a descendant of the Richards family, of Reed Richards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. It gets really complicated with that character, and to have him and not tie in the Fantastic Four, it's going to be hard.
Foolish.
So I think the Fantastic Four are coming, and they're going to come soon enough. So maybe sooner than we think. We just don't know.
I mean, between we've gotten Fantastic Four references, and I think in all 3 Marvel shows.
Yeah.
So they're definitely on their way.
Oliver says, if we're talking about all of this series, can we talk about the drastic difference between power levels? Bucky was a chump in the show. I like the aspect where when he isn't brainwashed, they mention that he's not left-handed. But still, super soldiers were very different as far as power levels. Yeah, you're right. If we're talking about difference in power levels, I think Captain America always seemed way more powerful than Bucky, as far as strength level and stuff. But then you see him throw the shield, and Bucky stop it. But when Bucky's not hypnotized, yeah, in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think you see a softer side of him. I think it's like you're looking at Superman constantly having to put himself in check because of his power set and not wanting to hurt anybody. It's a little different with Bucky, but similar because he doesn't want to hurt anybody anymore because he is aware of what he did in the past. Mm-hmm. So he dials it back, I think, much more than he should sometimes. And when he hasn't let loose, like if Superman let loose, for example, and really, wasn't pulling his punches, he could kill you instantly. But he doesn't do that because he doesn't want to. And same thing with Bucky. I don't think he wants to. So I think that's part of it. Let's see. Hakeem says there's an Ant-Man and a Spider-Man. banner. Yes,
That's right.
I remember that. Oliver says the X-Men is an absolute mess of a franchise. Ages, timeline, everything is completely inconsistent. Yeah, I mean, in the comics, of course. I mean,
They retcon, do a lot of retconning.
they've been around
that's
since
true.
the 60s. There's a lot of that because they did do a lot of timeline stuff, particularly in the Byrne run. The Byrne and, Jesus.
Claremont?
Yes, thank you. Claremont Byrne run. And just Claremont in general, because Claremont wrote X-Men for like, what, 11, 12 years? Something like that?
Yeah,
Or wait, no, it was like 17.
Yeah, 15. I would say 15 originally. Yeah, like 15 years
It was
originally.
like 17, 18 years. Yeah, he wrote that shit.
Yeah.
He wrote it for a long time. Maria says if Kang is supposed to be the villain in the next Ant-Man, which doesn't come out for 2 years, who is going to be the villain in the next Loki season?
Oh.
I think it's probably going to be Kang, but I don't know if the new Loki season's going to come out in the next 2 years either.
God, I hope it does.
To be honest, because I did look on the board. It's early in the year, I think, that Ant-Man comes out in 2023, I believe.
Yeah, and and Tom Hiddleston's in Doctor Strange, so he can't shoot Loki then.
Yeah, Maria, I think it will be longer than two years for season 2 of Loki. Plus, they have so many other series of Marvel, and if you notice, they're not putting out more than one at the same time. They're spacing it out. The next one is the What If series. Yeah, the animated What If.
And after that, I think it's Ms. Marvel right after that.
And for those that don't know, What If is a comic book where Marvel just came up with the idea, well, what if Spider-Man had become the God of Thunder? Or, what if Uncle Ben didn't die? And, would we have Spider-Man then? What if...
It's based on a comic book.
Yeah.
The What If series.
Yeah. What if Peggy Carter became the Captain America character instead of Steve Rogers?
Yeah, or like Captain Britain or something. Yeah. So, and I'm really excited. We are getting Marvel Zombies in this What If series. Yes. I'm super excited for that. I hope it's like a 2 or 3 parter, to be honest. And I hope that they don't do it. It looks like they're rotoscoping almost with the way the artwork looks, like the series. So I'm really excited about this. And plus, it's going to be a little heartbreaking because it's going to be Chadwick Boseman's last piece of him as the Black Panther. He does the voice for it. So that's going to be kind of a solemn moment in the series, but also a celebration too. So it'll be nice.
Do we think that they're going to use the multiverse to do the What If?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. They'll, and I mean, it's animated, so yeah, they'll do that. And will they tie it into the cinematic universe? I don't think. I don't think that that's going to be a part of that cinematic universe. But they do talk about.
They have the original cast members.
When they're advertising it, they do talk about it, and there's different timelines and multiverses and blah 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 blah. So they do mention that. So yeah, that's going to be part of it. Lexi pops in. Thanks for joining, Lexi. He says this is very educational. I'm ignorant on the subject matter overall. Well, sit down, take a seat. Welcome. Class is about to begin. Wait, or has it begun? I don't know. Let me get my hat though, real quick.
No.
There we go. Captain Don is back and here to educate you. So here we go. Tutelage from Captain Don. All right. Let's see. Oliver says, as a movie franchise specifically, Loki won't be out until after that. Yeah. Maria says, so they just left us in the middle of all this action and cliffhanger for 2 years? Boo! Boo!
Yeah, boo.
Maria, I can't agree more.
It's all about the tease.
Oliver says, everyone, what are your thoughts on She-Hulk? Let's get to that.
I'm pretty excited.
Tatiana Maslany is a great, amazing actress, so I think it's in good hands.
She is a great actress. I don't know very much. My knowledge on She-Hulk, I don't know too terribly much, but I am excited. I'm excited for any new Marvel.
Yeah.
She practices law just like Daredevil.
I was looking. They have a cover of She-Hulk where she has no clothes and she's standing there, and John Byrne drew his own hand in, and he's holding this jump rope, and he's like, She-Hulk, you lost the bet. You promised that you would do this. And he's trying to make her jump rope so she can get her clothes back. And now that scene is very misogynistic. And he did that a lot throughout the She-Hulk series run because it was a comedy series. So he tried to make it fun. And I think we're going to see, from what I've been hearing, we're going to see more of that, more of the comedy in She-Hulk. I think they're going to go more sensational than savage. In other words, so we already have Bruce Banner, the serious on the run green monster or whatever that sometimes is funny. But I think with She-Hulk, since she gets to keep her mental stability when she turns, I think we're going to get more flirty and quirky, and I think that's going to be fun. So I'm excited for it, and we're going to get, I think, some good. We might get Howard the Duck, which I think would be great. Howard the Duck might be in there. He's a great choice to be a part of that series as well, because he was in the original Sensational She-Hulk also.
What do we think is going to happen to Hulk?
The Incredible Hulk, Bruce Banner?
Yeah, during this series, like
he might pop in.
well, he's there. I mean, he's in the show.
Yeah. Well, what do I think is going to happen?
In the show, but
well, how she gets turned into the Hulk is she gets a blood transfusion from Bruce Banner.
From Bruce, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're billing him as one of the main actors in the show. Question is he going to morph again? Is Hulk going to change and like run off or something? Like that's what I'm.
I say Ruffle no.
Then I'll punch.
That was good. Yeah, maybe. I'm not 100%. But yeah, he might do that. But I feel like we get enough of him like running off. I think he'll try to be a support for her at first, but then she's got to fly on her own, so to speak. So they might flash forward because I think they're going to do some court case stuff too. So, we might get Charlie Cox. We might get Daredevil in there.
I sure as heck hope so.
Yeah.
Been too long.
It makes logical sense,
Oliver says, Marvel Zombies that you brought up, do you think WB will ever do a Dark Knight Brightest Day series?
Darkest Night, Brightest Day.
Yeah, there's sure as shit hope they do. Kevin and I are in agreement on this. I think they need to do an origin for Green Lantern again, because the last one was awful.
Sinestro Corps War for sure.
Yep, then the Sinestro Corps, then the Rage of the Red Lanterns. And then I think we can do we'll do the Blue Lanterns with the red when we introduce them, and then
I think Tribe can't forget the Indigo Tribe.
I think the Indigo Tribe can come in during the Darkest Night,
Blackest Night.
Blackest Night. Thank you. During the Blackest Night Rising, I think that's when they can come in during that storyline. So, yeah,
we have the Star Sapphire.
We have 4 or 5 movies already plotted out. Kevin and myself, we've written them. WB has purchased, or they are circling around possibly purchasing the idea that we haven't written them. They're actually negotiations. Yeah, they're in negotiations for us to write it at some point in the.
And we're also getting 5% first dollar gross on the back end, if you can believe
that.
Yes,
yes, Kevin loves that back end.
Well, I mean, we are getting the new origin for the HBO Max Green Lantern series.
Yeah, we are getting Guy Gardner, which is super exciting.
Another redhead.
Exciting. I can't wait for that. Yeah, we finally get a ginger. Let's see. Scorch says, I like the comic book. What if the Gamma Bomb had spawned 1,000 Hulks? Yes, that is a cool idea, Scorch. Like, think about that. A bunch of overpowered brutes tromping around, and some of them not with a good heart, like Bruce Banner. You've all had that neighbor that won't turn the music down. Yeah, now they're going to be a Hulk. The guy that sits out in his car and revs the engine each morning, like at 6 a.m. before he goes to work. That asshole. Yeah, he's going to be a Hulk.
Hey, I like Scorch's McGruff logo.
Yes, yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Jared,
out of crime.
Jared says, I hope we get our Wrecking Crew. Yeah, I think that'll happen. They've already talked about it being in the She-Hulk series. So I think we're going to get that, Jared. Jared also says he loves Charlie's Cox. I think you missed the punctuation there, Jared.
I don't think he
well,
what he was writing.
You see,
I think
moving on, okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Don't forget about Orange. Oh, that's true. Yeah, thank you, Oliver.
Oh, Larfleeze.
Larfleeze. He's a great character, but I can't see him in his own film. I think that they should throw him in then maybe either with the Sinestro Corps War, or maybe also in the back end with the Blackest or the Blackest Night series. I think we could do that. But Larfleeze is cool. Imagine somebody that's so greedy that they don't want to build a core of people. They want to kill them so they can keep their rings and then just construct them out of the ring. So basically, if we wanted Chris on the podcast every Monday, instead of inviting him, we would just kill him and then take his essence and create a construct so we can just do that on our own because we're very greedy. If we,
No, I don't think Chris would like that at all.
I mean, well, I'd get the company until I die, so
There we go.
that.
Yeah. Scorch says thanks. I like McGruff. I know we kind of bounce back and forth a little bit, but we're trying to anything anybody else wants to say about the Loki series. Any quick questions before we wrap up this evening? Just throw it out in the chat, or anybody on our panel here that wants to talk anything else with Loki. What you thought? Any questions you had?
I am super excited, and I really hope that Sam Raimi, who I do have faith in, he's a good filmmaker, to really make Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, just the powerful movie to help move all these Marvel movies forward. I want to see the possible introduction of the mutants and Fantastic Four. I want to see what Loki's up to. I want to see what Wanda's up to. So we basically, I hope it answers a decent amount of questions. I won't answer all the questions, but just a decent amount of questions before we get to Quantumanium.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I like quantum. I like the idea of quantum mania.
I want to know, when we would see, if we'll see Renslayer again before Loki season 2.
Ooh, I don't know.
In the comics, her and Kang, so...
Yeah, that's true, because the lady that ran what was her name again, Sammy?
Ravonna Renslayer.
Yeah, that lady. Before she was in charge there of the TVA, she was essentially Kang's lover, his girl, and she was kind of like his partner in crime, so to speak. So yeah, I think we'll see more of her for sure. I don't know if they're going to keep her relegated to the series, like the TV series, or not, or if they're going to bring her in. Let's see. Okay, we got some questions here. Sammy, what was your favorite part of Black Widow?
Okay. Honestly, one of the best parts, and it's a very silly part, but one of the best parts is how they explained the vest she wears in Infinity War, and how it actually was Yelena's vest. And that whole scene with them in the car talking about, Yelena saying this is the first piece of clothing that I've been able to choose myself, and getting all excited because of all the pockets, and just them acting like sisters and being no, I like it, and it's I knew you did, yes. And then at the end when she's wearing it, and then I like their whole relationship. It was really sweet, because even though they technically weren't, they weren't biologically sisters, the bond and everything, it was pretty great.
Yeah, it was I thought it was a great fun film, very fun.
Yeah, I loved all of it, but that was pretty cute. And them talking about their lives and what they thought they would have done, or what Yelena thought Nat's life was when she talked to people, and what she said her sister was doing.
Now, I think it's interesting what my favorite part of Loki was with this. Since we're talking, favorite parts of Black Widow, I like the Taskmaster a lot. I'm a huge Taskmaster fan of the comic book and of the character, but I also enjoyed the Marvel Cinematic Universe's way that they went about doing it. Was I completely happy? No, but the character I thought was still cool. And I was like, okay, if this is what they want to do, that's fine. Plus, now that I know that we have all these variant timelines, we can easily still get that Taskmaster that we all know and love. So, it's okay. It's going to be okay. And speaking of another variant, on the screen right now is my favorite Loki, old Loki, with his glorious purpose.
Yeah, classic Loki, yeah.
Classic Loki, can't beat it.
That's bringing up variants. I was wondering, because I heard that the real Mandarin's going to be in the Shang-Chi.
Oh.
Yes,
and
that's
so
true.
is that going to be a variant, or?
Who knows? Because Ben
No.
Kingsley, they did that that short.
Oh, the short was awesome.
Yeah.
It was like not Return of the King. It was like something King in it.
Yeah, the king is back, or like yeah, something like that. And it was basically Ben Kingsley admitting that he actually was then the Mandarin.
Well, not Ben Kingsley's character, but there was another
That
person
there
out
is
there.
actual Mandarin, a real like.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, and basically he pissed the real Mandarin off, basically by him acting that way.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. In the prison, right? It was in the because he was in prison, and it was like what? It's 11 minutes short, something like that.
Yeah, maybe like a 20-minute short. Yeah, it's called All Hail the King.
All Hail the King. Okay. Yeah. Loki, how do you think they will move forward? Is what Oliver is asking. Well, obviously they can't not bring up this Kang situation and ignore it. They can't do that. You know, it's something that has to happen. And do I think that that they'll go forward with Kang himself? I don't know. I think that they're going to have a lot of other things that they're going to have to work on within the series, particularly all these variants. First of all, he has to get out. Mobius is trying to arrest him at the end of it, so he's got to get away from that. And then he's probably going to meet up with the Enchantress again, and they're going to go on the run again, and then they're going to try to find more variants of themselves again or something, and try to shut down this evil empire that's building. So will we see more Kang? Maybe, probably, but I think we're just going to get more of this time variant, time travel fun. I think it's going to be kind of like a little like Doctor Who, in a way.
You'll probably see some other time villains,
and maybe a little like Quantum Leap. Yeah, we're going to see some more time villains too. Yeah, I think you're right.
Since you think they're gonna be looking for like hunting down Kang, and Ant-Man's probably gonna come before it, do you think that Kang's then gonna like win in Ant-Man?
Possibly. Yeah, could be very easily. I mean, it's always darkest before the dawn, you know, and I think that good storytelling always tells you that the villain's going to win, and then the heroes have to come back. That's almost always the way it is. So yeah, I think Kang probably will win, and I think we're gonna see what his universe would be like, that particular one, and we might see what other universes of other versions of Kang are like too. And I think that's what we're gonna have in the Loki series, different versions of what Kang is, Immortus, Rama-Tut, things like that we might see pop up.
I'm okay with that because I thought Jonathan Majors was amazing. That'd be great. Like the part where he improv walking on the desk was wonderful. And I loved his whole performance. And that was, if you think about it, that was an almost all talky episode too. But no one cared because it was so good. Yeah,
it's true. Oliver asks, "Are we going to get the Thanos copter in any other instance?" I don't think so. I think we saw it. That's the little. It's just a little funny, quirky thing. The Thanos copter is not something I think that we ever need to see again. Would they put it in there? That possibly it could be much like what's his name? Sam Raimi does with his car, his classic car that he always puts in every one of his films. It's possible we could get that. You know, where in every season of Loki, we see some instance of the Thanos copter. It's possible, but I don't know. I don't know if it's necessary. That's up to the people doing the special effects. If they think it's funny and cheeky, they'll probably put it in. What are your thoughts on frost giants? Says Scorch. Well, I know that if Loki was a frost giant and he uses his powers to turn himself to look more human, when they stripped him of his powers in the TVA, he should have turned back into a frost giant looking motherfucker, and that did not happen. So I'm asking that too. So I would love to know where those frost giants went with that. And there's so many more stories to tell with the frost giants, though, and I hope that Love and Thunder puts a little bit of that in there because it's fun. They're cool. There you are. We had a little blip there for a second, guys.
No.
Yeah, just a quick blip, but it's all right. Maria asked, is classic Loki going to come back, or did he really go out in a blaze of glory? He didn't go out in glorious purpose. There's no way. He's the master of mischief and misdirection. He is still alive. I can almost guarantee it. Almost guarantee it. Hakeem says, I thought Loki was great. It was good enough to make me long for more. Yeah. Yeah, solid. Probably the best of the three that we've seen so far. Lexi says, congratulations. Well, thank you. Congratulations to you too, Lexi. I don't quite know what I'm being congratulated for or us, but thank you. I must have said something and then you said congratulations. Or Kevin did or something. Oliver says it's got so many pockets. My mom liked that part as well with the jacket. Agrees with Chris. He nailed it. So that was Chris. That was your comment there earlier. Janet says, so glad to see Sammy here and hear her input. And Maria says, at Janet, I agree. And nobody else but women say that. Huh. Well, okay, funny. Huh.
I don't.
Now, actually, Hakeem said it too.
Sounds like a theme with you.
What? What? Okay, that's the end of the questions. Anybody else have anything else they want to say before we wrap this up?
Ramatut next time around for season 2 Loki.
Ramatut? You can do that.
Ramatut.
Do. Ramatut. Okay. All right. Well, real quick before we go, I just want to mention we do have a sponsor. And I don't want that sponsor to feel left out or ignored. So we are talking Splattered Frog Brewing Company. If you go to splatteredfrog.com, it's www.splatterfrog.com, and you put in the code SHORTBOX, you will get 20% off your order. And we do have something exciting coming up. We are going to do a cross-promotional shirt and hat series of the Real Short Box with Splattered Frog, a hybrid logo, so to speak. I think it's going to be really cool. That's going to be coming out sometime in the near future. The pint glasses are coming for Splattered Frog. He has made them. They are ordered and coming in. They should be in the next week or two. When they come up on the website, you can order that. I think on the site they're $10 with $4 for shipping. So if you put in if you put in the code SHORTBOX, let me put that in. You would get the pint glass for $8, and with $4 shipping, it's only $12 for pint-sized glass from Splattered Frog with that logo, that amazingly cool logo you see right there. It's right there. There, I'm pointing to it now. There we go. All right. There we go. Oh, my mom says, happy birthday, son. Yes, it's midnight there in Ohio, so it is technically my birthday there.
It's officially your birthday. Happy birthday.
It is my East Coast birthday.
52 years old.
Yep.
52 years old.
Yeah.
Very
impressive. I'm old as shit, guys. Thank you. I found some dirt today, and the dirt said, you're old. And I was like, damn, that's harsh, dirt.
They made me, is what it said.
Yeah. All right, so that's it. Thank you all for joining and tuning in to the Real Short Box. Once again, my name's Donald. Over here's Chris. This is Sammy and Kevin. We appreciate having you. Please check out our podcasts, our audio podcast. You can find us on Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google, Amazon Now, podcast there, and a whole host of others. Plus, we have all of our back catalog on YouTube as well that you can search out and find. Lots of fun videos.
Spread the word. Please spread the word. Leave a like.
Yeah, give us a like. Make a comment on any video. Hakeem's really good about that, by the way. Thank you, Hakeem. I always appreciate that. We always appreciate that. Leaving comments and stuff on our videos and things. It's nice to know we've got such lovely support from our family over there in the East, so to speak. And thank you. So thank you all for tuning in and listening. And if we don't see you out and about anytime soon, perhaps we will see you
at the delightful, enchanting, and fantastic comic book shop.
Night, everybody.